The mysterious woman's name and backstory is revealed, Midoriya is in some serious trouble, and Overhaul is broken? Let's talk about all of this and more as we dive right into the newest chapter of My Hero Academia. So My Hero Academia Chapter 312 is finally out, and with it, we get to learn who exactly this dashing young woman with a sniper in her arm actually is. God, I've been waiting for this day since her introduction. She's just so mysterious, yet so cool. I mean, she basically has a cannon coming out of her elbow. Huh, now that I think about it, this isn't the first time we've seen an awesome female character in this series with a cannon coming out of their body. Well, I guess the saying is true. Bitches do love cannons. In this chapter, we see Deku face off against a bullseye beauty, we learn her motivations for hunting down Midoriya and why she brought along Overhaul, and we also get to see a little bit more about All For One's plans and his escape from Tartarus. But before I begin talking about this chapter, I'm first going to go into a quick summary of what happened last time. And as usual, don't forget to Detroit smash that like button and slide into that subscribe button's DMs to hit that notification bell. In the last chapter, we saw Endeavor do what Endeavor does best and make quick work of some destructive villains. And after taking down the villains and bringing justice to the streets, Endeavor was then bombarded with cheers and applause from a crowd of his adoring fans who were holding signs showing nothing but praise for their glowing symbol of peace. Or at least that's what they would have been doing if he wasn't an asshole who beat his family. Instead, they bombarded him with hate and they berated and insulted the top three heroes, Endeavor, Hawks, and Best Jeanist, aka Team Chicken Hot Pants, as the trio left the area. As the three heroes drove away in the Denomobile, they discussed how they shockingly still have no leads on All For One's location. They also talked about All For One's plan to take over Shigaraki's body, and Hawks brought up the great point of how strange it is that the epitome of evil who has lived for centuries doesn't carry around as much hate inside of him as a 21-year-old hand fetishist does. Trust me, Hawks, you walk around most of your life wearing a hand on your face like this, you too would probably be filled with some pretty deep hate. The chapter then cuts to All Might, where it shows him tracking Midoriya's location like an overprotective mother tracking her rebellious teen son who according to him is not going through a phase, and thinking about how Midoriya needs to get some rest. All Might then realizes that Sir Night-Eye said the same thing to him way back when they worked together, and then All Might proceeds to come to the saddening realization that his now dead friend was one of the few people who actually cared about him and his health. And while All Might was off making sure the rest of the world was okay, Sir Night-Eye was the one making sure he was okay. And then after this, All Might proceeds to explode. As this happens, Midoriya's tracking beacon gets shot out of his hand, and the chapter comes to an end revealing that All For One has finally made his move, as we are greeted with the beautiful shot of this gorgeous, mysterious, bi-colored haired woman aiming the sniper rifle coming out of her elbow towards our protagonist. My god, she's stunning. Oh, and Overhaul is here too. And this is where chapter 312 picks up. This chapter opens up with a flashback of a discussion between Hawks and Midoriya right before the heroes left Central Hospital. Here, Hawks tells Midoriya that he shouldn't worry about any of the convicts who have escaped Tartarus prison, as none of them pose a real threat to the power of One For All. He also mentions that the doctor formerly known as Maruta Shiga, Kyodai Garaki, is also in custody. So, for All For One's plan to work, he now needs to take in Midoriya alive, as Kyodai is the only person who knows how to extract quirk factors from dead bodies. However, it would be near impossible for basically any villain to capture Midoriya alive thanks to his insane power, so he essentially has nothing to worry about when it comes to potential threats. That is unless, as Hawk says, that woman is involved. And it's here where Hawks reveals the true identity of the mysterious woman. Hawks reveals that her name is Lady Nagant, and she is actually Hawks' old master from the Public Hero Safety Commission. Now I knew she would be important, but god damn. It's then revealed through an old interview with the UA teacher Snipe, you know, the guy who just uses guns, that she is actually Japan's best long-distance sniper. He mentions how while he can hit any target up to 600 meters away thanks to his quirk, she can hit any target with pinpoint accuracy up to 3 kilometers away through pure skill. That's about 1.86 miles for all of you users of the inferior Imperial measurement system. Metric all the way! Nagant's pinpoint accuracy and skill is also made far more powerful thanks to her quirk, which is called Rifle. This quirk grants Nagant with the ability to produce a rifle from her right arm. But more importantly, it also grants her the ability to shape her bicolored hair into any kind of bullet. That's right, her quirk allows her to take out some of her hair and she can mold and shape it into any form of bullet she wants. Whether that's a hollow point bullet, a normal bullet, or even a bullet that curves. And as Snipe is relaying all of this information, we also get some shots of her in her hero days. And sweet Jesus, Rule 34 is gonna have a fucking field day. After this exposition drop, the story cuts back to the present, and we are greeted with this beautiful shot of Midoriya standing alone, staring off into the blackened abyss of the city as Hawk's words echo in his mind. If you ever find yourself in a fight with this woman, please do everything you can to just run away. Midoriya, following the wise words of one of his mentors, desperately tries to flee the area using Black Whip. In his desperate dash to escape, Midoriya grabs his now broken tracking beacon, and he notes how Hawk's genius and endeavor should immediately know something is up because the beacon went offline. However, he also points out that Nagant will probably try and target them if he gets too close. So his best bet is to stick to his plan and just run away. But before Midoriya can even finish this thought process, another bullet comes hurtling around a corner aimed straight towards Midoriya's chest. As Nagant says, "You're out of options." Woohoo! She's a badass! Where has she been all this time? She's so goddamn cool! And as Midoriya just barely catches the bullet thanks to his danger sense and gets propelled backwards due to its power, Nagant comments on how she can see why All For One has his eye on Midoriya. She then shoots another bullet at Midoriya, which shatters into shrapnel, tearing into Midoriya's skin. Obviously hurt by this, Midoriya begins to plummet towards the ground. While he is falling, Midoriya thinks about how if it wasn't for the fourth user's quirk, Danger Sense, he would have never been able to stop that first bullet. But thanks to being shot by that bullet and the shrapnel one after it, Midoriya is able to locate Nagant's hiding spot. And he points out how the only location where she would have been able to make those shots was on top of a building 1 kilometer away. And so, instead of trying to run 2 kilometers away from Nagant while attempting to endure a barrage of bullets, Midoriya instead chooses to charge the villain and attempt to take her down. It's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out for him. As Midoriya begins his assault, the story cuts back to Nagant's point of view, where we see Overhaul huddled over, repeating the phrase, "Old man, I want to go back to the old man." Now, by his deadpan expression and the lack of life in his eyes, it very much seems like Overhaul still hasn't gotten over the fact that he lost the ability to free his adoptive father from a coma in which he himself willingly put him in. Karma's a bitch. Hearing Overhaul's ramblings, Nagant angrily charges over to him and tells him that she will bring him to the old man once she is finished here. And after telling Overhaul this, she mentions that maybe she should have left Overhaul behind. And I mean, yes, 100% you should have. He can do absolutely nothing, and he is one step away from being literal dead weight. But as Nagant says all of this, the story flashes back to her and Overhaul's escape from Tartarus. As the two were trying to leave the prison, they were confronted by none other than All For One, who greeted Nagant as the traitor hero. Seeing All For One in person, Nagant laughs about how she used to try and track down All For One back in her hero days, and All For One tells Nagant that he views her as someone who is leagues above the rest of the inmates of Tartarus, and so he asks her for a favor. Now this is actually quite interesting, as Overhaul tells Nagant that there is a boy who will most likely leave UA and work alongside some top heroes, and that he wants Nagant to capture this boy alive. Now what's interesting about this is that All For One predicted exactly what Midoriya and the top 3 heroes did, which makes me wonder, does All For One have a sort of foresight quirk kind of like Sir Night Eyes? Let me know what you think below. Is he just really good at predicting things, or is there a power behind his genius? But anyway, after hearing everything All For One has to say, Nagant immediately denies his request, saying that all she wanted was to escape Tartarus, so there is nothing he can offer her to help him. But All For One, being the smooth talking potato that he is, brings up the point that she has killed countless of her fellow heroes in the hopes to bring an end to this pro-hero society. and he tells her that if Midoriya lives, the society she has worked so hard to tear down will never fall. As this conversation is going on, Overhaul begins to mumble about his old man, and All For One asks Nagant if Overhaul is her friend, to which she replies, no, he's nothing but a broken man who she thought might be of some use to her later on. And she also says that she took pity on him because he too is a victim of the pro-hero society. Hearing this, All For One reaches out his hand to Nagant and says, to put an end to these damned heroes, come on, let's make a deal. And with this, the chapter ends, revealing All For One transferred a quirk over to Nagant, that quirk being Airwalk. And this chapter leaves us with one final shot of Nagant floating in the air proclaiming, I will carry out my mission. Overall, I really enjoyed this chapter. I love the current situation Deku is in with his fight against Nagant, and I can't wait to see just how it all plays out. It's not the stereotypical who is stronger fight, which is a decision I am very happy Horikoshi made. It should allow him to make some more interesting and creative twists and turns to keep us fans guessing. As for Nagant, I say this every time, but god damn it do I mean it this time. Move over everybody, we got a new best girl. Her design is really unique, and I love the way she's similar to Hawks, in that she isn't the most powerful person, but she makes up for it in her own unique way, turning her into a force to be reckoned with. Seeing Overhaul all beaten and broken makes me think that this fight is going to end with Midoriya trying to reconcile and understand Overhaul's motivations in villainy, and help him make amends with his father. This might lead Nagant to realize that pro-heroes are changing, and that Midoriya isn't just another hero. Also, did I mention how the name Nagant is a reference to a Russian sniper rifle, which just makes her character even cooler. Why are you so damn cool? But let me know what you think of this chapter. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like and comment what you think is going to happen next. For more My Hero content, subscribe to the Lunchtime crew. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Plus Ultra.